As we open our hearts, that these words of truth may fall upon the very fabric of our lives. Amen. Let's move to our first slide. Women companions of Jesus. Okay. So does that come, I'm hoping that that comes across clear and that this comes across loud. Okay, so I will come in there now and see.
Don't know.
Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, if you can hear you in the room, then we should hear you.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this sounds okay? I mean,
Yeah,
it comes
I think so.
across there, because that door is usually, that wall is opened, so it goes into the other classroom as well.
Gotcha. Okay. Yep. No, it sounds great back here.
Okay, and then the slides were coming across okay?
We can see them. That's why I was moving that out to see if it changed anything.
Okay. So this is all I do. Typically, I would stand here. The person, the controller, has my whole presentation. They know exactly when they're advancing the slides. So again, if it comes to me or comes over to the slide.
Gotcha. Okay. I'll take a picture so you can see what you look like right now.
Okay.
Okay.
And then Patty, I'm also going to just go to the very last slide, which is the DVD, just to make sure that it comes across as well. So let me go.
A disciple is literally one who follows. Now that's a simple definition, isn't it? But it requires some thoughtful work to understand what it means, what it implies, and how it is manifest in the lives of people. To be a disciple requires discernment. Who to follow or what to follow is the most important and fundamental step. For some of us, we almost fall into following someone or some idea or philosophy. This happens sometimes by virtue of our life circumstances. Born into a church-going home, a person is often aware of very different choices than someone born into a home where church and God are not mentioned. But even those of us who are born into and raised in a tradition of faith still have to come to a realization that many things grab our attention. We still have to constantly assess who and what is leading us. We still have to evaluate the influence of culture, economy, ambition, religion. We still have to determine what God we choose to follow. Once it becomes clear who we want to follow, each of us has to make a decision to step in line and actually follow. I cannot, for example, decide that I admire the teachings of Jesus and call myself a follower if I do not actually get in line and begin to take the steps necessary to observe and absorb those teachings. I cannot be a follower from a distance. I have to actually move in the same direction as Jesus is moving. During the time of Jesus' adult life, those who became disciples had to move in a number of ways. They moved out of certain lifestyles or mindsets and into a new and freeing way of living. And some literally moved. They picked up a few belongings and followed Jesus around Israel. from town to town, from encounter to encounter, from Galilee to Jerusalem. The women that we're studying in this lesson are disciples. They made a conscious decision to follow Jesus. They invested themselves to the point of traveling from one part of Israel to another, being shaped by what they saw and experienced. They are the women who traveled from Galilee to Jerusalem and to the empty tomb. You are probably aware from your own previous study of Scripture that there are few stories that are found in all four Gospels. Some stories appear only in one Gospel, as for example the story in Luke of the crippled woman who was healed on the Sabbath. Some stories appear only in the synoptic Gospels of Matthew, Mark, and Luke, but not in the Gospel of John, as for example the parable of the mustard seed. And some stories are not found in the synoptic Gospels, but only found in John's Gospel, as is the case with the woman condemned by the Jewish leaders for adultery, but forgiven by Jesus. Well, the women who traveled from Galilee to Jerusalem are spoken of in all four Gospels. Their presence and fidelity was important enough that all four evangelists spoke of them, though they are not identified by name in the same way in all four Gospels. The only woman of these to be named consistently in all four Gospels is Mary Magdalene, or Mary of Magdala. It may help to at least keep track of all these women by seeing how they are mentioned in each Gospel. At the cross of Jesus, Luke speaks of them as an unnamed group and says that they are the women who had followed him from Galilee. Later, he identifies them at the empty tomb as Mary Magdalene, Mary, the mother of James, and Joanna. Matthew names them as Mary Magdalene, Mary, the mother of James and Joseph, and the mother of the sons of Zebedee. Mark also speaks of Mary Magdalene and Mary, the mother of James and Joseph, but he names the third woman Salome. John also places Mary Magdalene at the cross, along with Mary, the mother of Jesus, and Mary's sister, perhaps an aunt of Jesus, along with Mary, the wife of Clopas. In John's Gospel, only Mary Magdalene appears at the tomb as a witness to the resurrection. We know that some of these women are mothers, while one or two seem to be independent of male sponsorship, or at least are not mentioned in relation to a male family member. If we spend too much time trying to harmonize the four accounts and work hard to make the names fit where only descriptions are written, I think we'll miss the point that among the followers of Jesus are women. Among those who left everything behind are women. Among the disciples of Jesus who traveled with him from town to town are not just 12 named men, but a few women we know of by name, and no doubt other women and men who are not mentioned but may have been on the journey as well. I think this reality in itself should stir our imaginations. In my own life, it is sometimes easy to think of the 12 as the small band who made an ultimate sacrifice, leaving behind their homes for a time, setting out on an adventure that they could not have understood at first. I say that might be easy because if it was only those 12, then they were the exception, not the rule. Then they were on a different level than the rest of us. If, however, we see that the 12 were joined by others who also followed and learned, others who helped to support their ministry, then we begin to see that the call of Jesus is not just for the few, whose names we may have learned as children, but that call is to a larger group, some of whom remain unnamed, but who nonetheless were faithful disciples. We can begin to see that even now we are called to the same kind of discipleship as those who first followed Jesus, whether or not we are ever included within the inner circle whose names become synonymous with the title disciple. The women in particular are marked not only by their choice of who they follow or by their actual journey in the footsteps of Jesus. They are marked too by perseverance and a kind of fearlessness about being associated with Jesus even in his final hours. Perhaps by virtue of the fact that they were women, that their status was less significant in public than the status of men, they were able to overcome whatever fears they may have had in being identified with this convicted criminal. Their seeming insignificance made the women less suspect, less ego-centered, and more able to respond from an emotional center than the male followers who mostly stayed away from the court and the cross, and who even in one case denied knowing Jesus. The commitment of the women from Galilee was sealed by the shadow of the cross as they
right, testing 1, 2, 3, testing 1, 2, 3, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P. Prayer before Bible study. So we open our Bibles, we also open our hearts, that these words of truth may fall upon the very fabric of our lives. May these ancient scriptures come alive within us to inspire, to heal, to cleanse, to teach, to restore, and to guide our hearts and minds. Lord, come weave your words of life in us. Amen. So this week we're going to be looking at some of those notable women of the New Testament who were disciples of Jesus, who followed Jesus to the cross.